Have you ever kind of stared at a clock with hands and felt a little lost? Or maybe you've wondered why we say things like half past instead of just, the numbers. Well, today we are going to dive right into the Cambridge Primary Mathematics Workbook and become total masters of time. By the end of this, seriously, you'll be able to read any clock, analog or digital, with absolute confidence.
Okay, let's get started. The first thing we need to get our heads around is that time basically speaks to us in two different languages. And our mission? It's to get fluent in both.
So, on the one hand, you've got the classic analog clock, right? With its hour and minute hands sweeping across the face. And on the other, you've got that sleek digital display that just gives you the numbers. They're both telling you the exact same thing, just in totally different ways.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The real magic here is learning how to translate between them. And trust me, once you see the pattern, you're going to realize it's way, way simpler than it looks. All right, let's start with what's probably the most straightforward part, turning those digital numbers into the words we actually say out loud. This example from the workbook is the perfect place to start. It gives us three different times here, 4:02, 5:12, and 8:30, and it shows us exactly how to say them.
For a time like 4:02, it's like a simple little recipe with 3 steps. First, you say the minutes, so 2 minutes. Then you add the key word, which is past. And finally, you say the hour, 4. Put it all together, and what do you get? 2 minutes past 4. See? Easy.
So that's our foundation, that minutes past hour formula. It's exactly why 5:12 becomes 12 minutes past 5. And it's pretty much the main rule for the entire first half of any hour.
Okay, so here is where it gets really interesting. Our language has these awesome little shortcuts for common times. It's like a special lingo, and we are about to crack the code. Let's start with a big one, half past. Really, this is just our cool way of saying that 30 minutes have passed since the hour started. If you look at an analog clock, the big minute hand will be pointing straight down at the 6, which is exactly halfway around the clock. And this exercise here shows that translation perfectly. Half past 8 just means 30 minutes past the hour of 8. So on a digital clock, boom, 8:30. It's as simple as that. And what's really neat is we can flip this around too. If someone says 34 minutes past 2, you instantly know the hour is 2 and the minutes are 34. The digital time has to be 2:34. It's a completely logical conversion, back and forth. All right, so we've got the whole past idea down pat. Now let's tackle something that can sometimes feel a little bit tricky, the quarters.
So have you ever really thought about this? I mean, both 10:15 and 3:45 are 15 minutes away from an hour marker, right? But we talk about them in completely different ways. Why is that?
Well, it all comes down to direction. Quarter past is what we use when we're 15 minutes after the hour. So 10:15 is quarter past 10. But quarter to is when we're looking ahead. It's for when we're 15 minutes before the next hour. That's why 3:45 is quarter to 4.
So when we see a challenge question like this one, we can figure it out in a snap. A quarter to 11 means we are 15 minutes before 11 o'clock. We're not at 11 yet, right? So the hour is still 10, and we're at 45 minutes. So the answer is 10:45.
Okay, now that we've got all the rules down, let's see how this actually connects to our everyday lives. Because this isn't just some math problem, is it? It's a skill you're going to use every single day. You know, a great way to really test yourself is to take a digital time, like this one, 10:27, and try to draw the hands on a blank clock face. It really forces you to picture that translation in your mind.
So, when you try this, remember 2 really key things. The short hour hand isn't going to be pointing right at the 10. Because it's almost half past the hour, it should be about halfway between the 10 and the 11. But the long minute hand, that one is super precise. It has to point exactly to the 27th minute mark.
Now let's make this personal. I want you to think about your own day for a second. What time do you wake up? This is that moment where telling time stops being just an exercise and it starts being a real-life tool. You know, this exercise from the workbook is actually really smart. It's asking you to put your own wake-up time on both types of clocks. It connects this whole math skill directly to the very first thing you do every day. It makes it real. So what's the big takeaway here? It's not just about reading clocks. It's about owning your time. When you really master the clock, you get the power to plan your day with total precision. So, now that you're a time-telling expert, what's the very first thing you're going to schedule?